Welcome to CENTER Maine afternoon at 12:30 on your Tuesday. I'm Brian Yacono. I want to bring in meteorologist Christian Bridges today to talk about the changes coming in our forecast, but we get to most of today to enjoy.
That's right. And, we had such a great stretch of weather last week through, yesterday. We knew it had to come to an end eventually.
It's hard to give it up, but we know it's coming.
It is. I know. This morning, I could definitely feel that the refreshing feel in the air was starting to go away.
Creeping away.
Yeah, it was creeping away. Had a lot of this fog that's moved into in southern Maine. It's kind of turned a little bit gloomier out there. And that trend is going to continue. That's kind of what we're going to see the next several days as we enter a bit of an unsettled stretch here. Let's jump right into our forecast. Here's the live look at the Marshall Point Lighthouse. Still hanging on to a bit of sunshine there, although farther south down the coastline towards Portland, it has turned really cloudy as we've had this fog bank that has moved on in. Let's take a look at that. Here's a look at our visible satellite. Yeah, you can see that fog bank that pushed on shore in Portland. If you woke up in Portland, you were enjoying the beautiful sunny morning. Where'd the sun go? Well, it has gone behind these clouds, and that will kind of be the case through the rest of the day. Could be a peak or two more of sunshine, but looks like this cloud bank will be hanging pretty tough into the afternoon. Now, if you're in Bangor, down East Maine, northern Maine, it remains beautiful and sunny, and it will stay that way through the rest of the day. Thankfully, not much rain out there right now, but a couple showers are starting to pop up in the mountains in Somerset County. Also, a couple thunderstorms right near the international border. Really, though, it still remains pretty quiet in terms of rainfall. We'll be watching, though, some showers off to the west. I do think a few of those make it into western Maine this evening. You can kind of see where those clouds have set up this afternoon. It's 68 in Portland, the cool spot in the state, as that cloud bank has brought much cooler air on shore. Freiburg, though, just a few miles away, 84 degrees, 72 in Lewiston, as we've also seen the clouds making it up there. 79 in Augusta, or 81 in Bangor. Even Rangeley remains very nice at 77. You'll also notice that it is much muggier out there. Dew points in the upper 60s in Portland and in Sanford. Same story in Lewiston. Notice how those dew points in the low 50s in Bangor and in down East Maine. That's going to help to keep us nice and sunny and keep it refreshing. So the refreshing air not completely gone just yet, but it's certainly on its way out here as we head through the rest of the day. For today, topping out in the low 70s in Portland, we hit our high temperature around 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning. It's gotten cooler since then, and it will remain that way. Away from the coast, though, beautiful and very warm, well into the 80s for the afternoon. Another great day in a good chunk of the state. But all of us start to feel the effects of this approaching low pressure tomorrow. It gets a lot cooler, turns a lot wetter, but we could use some rain. So
Yes.
if you've been putting off some errands because you were enjoying that nice weather, great
This is
couple days
the
for it.
stretch. Yeah.
Clean the house.
All right. We'll see you again in a few minutes. Christian, thank you. Senator Lindsey Graham is being eulogized in Washington today. A service was held in the Capitol Rotunda this morning for the late senator from South Carolina. He died suddenly earlier this month from a likely aortic tear. He was 71. Vice President J.D. Vance was joined by other cabinet members and senators this morning paying tribute to Graham. Vance called the late senator a true American original. A funeral will be held for him later today at the Washington National Cathedral. Now, one of the expected guests for the late senator's funeral is Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Graham was one of Ukraine's most vocal supporters in Washington. In fact, he died just hours after returning from Kyiv on July 11th. Zelensky wrote on X that everyone attending Graham's memorial service will remember his commitment to security and freedom. The Ukrainian president also has plans to meet with President Trump today. White House officials say the meetings between the two leaders will focus on the ongoing peace process between Russia and Ukraine. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also set to meet with President Donald Trump in the White House today. The leaders will discuss the months-long Middle East conflict. There's currently a pause in U.S. strikes on Iran to allow time for diplomacy to take hold. The U.S. and Israeli forces both say Netanyahu wants to talk about the status of the war and to warn President Trump against making concessions in talks with Iran. Their meeting comes amid reported disagreement about how to handle that conflict. And while the fighting is paused in Iran, oil prices are falling sharply. Yesterday, oil prices had one of the biggest single-day drops since late May. The recent ceasefire allowed hundreds of millions of barrels to escape the Strait of Hormuz, allowing prices to dip. However, shipping traffic has again slowed to a trickle. Now, the market's resilience may be starting to fade. Market experts say they are examining how long stockpiles can keep demand low if the conflict in the Middle East continues.
We can keep it up for a matter of a few more months, but as those inventories drain, that means that the cushion for a future oil market supply disruption is very thin.
Experts say if demand picks up while supplies remain tight, drivers could be in for a rough end to the summer. They add that although the cost of oil is dropping, that doesn't immediately translate to gas and diesel fuel prices. Speaking of those, want to take a look at those oil prices? The U.S. benchmark is fluctuating around $80 a barrel. It topped $90 earlier this month. According to AAA, the average price per gallon of regular gas in Maine is $4.13. That's a few cents more than the national average today. Meanwhile, diesel is going for around $5.50 a gallon. That could be bad news for inflation since semi-trucks use that fuel to haul goods around the country. A new CBS YouGov poll shows 65% of Americans are not happy with the way the president is handling the economy right now. The president has been commenting on the economy while making stops around the country. Recently, while touring a General Motors facility, he said his tariffs have helped the auto industry, despite its reliance on the global supply chain. The Treasury Secretary is arguing the economic picture will improve before the November midterms.
Inflation will come down. We'll get to the other side of Iran, and I think the feel-good factor will come back.
Despite peace talks being in the works, the president insisted he does not feel pressure to quickly end the war with Iran. It's a decision that is broadly unpopular with American voters.